coming here on behalf of IBSF and joining us on this Christmas Day. I would like to say a few things about why we celebrate Christmas. For that, I'm going to take a few illustrations. Have you seen Google? They put up a notice about the top 10 most popular searches for 2014. Do you know what they are? What are the top 10 most popular searches in 2014? Can anyone name some? I have a gift for
Malaysian Airlines MH370.
Yeah, Malaysian Airlines.
ISIS.
Ebola, yeah.
ISIS.
Anything else?
ISIS.
ISIS, yeah. Anything else? We have only 10. What is it? Robin Williams, yeah. I'm not sure we'll see that. You still get a gift. Black Friday, I didn't see that. That was last year.
iPhone?
iPhone, I don't think so. Ukraine, yes. Sony, that didn't feature yet. Pardon? No? Yes, producer. Can you please put the list down? That's the top 10 list. Now, if I were to ask you to group all these 10 into 2 categories, where will you put them? Take all the 10 and put them into 2 categories.
ISIS is under reality of life.
Pardon me?
ISIS is under pain.
I want the 2 titles. So put all the 10 in 2 categories and give me those. Okay. These are the 2 categories I came up with. One I call entertainment or pleasure. The other one I call reality of life or pain. So can someone tell me, under pleasure or entertainment, which of the 10 will fall under? World Cup. Okay, Frozen.
Flappy Bird.
And Flappy Bird, good. And the rest 7 will come under the reality of life or pain. Now, underneath these 7 reality of life that I talked about, we see illness, disease, murder, atrocities, injustice, and war. Now let me ask you a question. Do we seek God in our pleasure or do we seek God in our pain? If you want a clue, think about the last time you had to write an exam. Do we seek God in our pleasure or do we seek God in our pain? In our pain. What is the cause of all of this? The atrocities, the murder, the injustice and everything. What is the cause of all of that? Did you see the skits? There were 3 boards that you saw. Can I have a light on the board, please? There are 3 things that we saw with a blackboard. Do you remember those? Pride, hatred and jealousy. We call that sin. Now, what is the origin of sin? Where does it come from? Have you ever thought about it? What is the origin of sin? It comes from the heart. It's from the human heart. That's the origin of sin. Now, many people go to mountains and hills and valleys and rivers to find a solution for sin. Some take extraordinary measures to find a solution for sin. But God knows our needs. And He has taken the form of a man. And this is fulfilled in the life of the birth of Jesus. At the time when Jesus was born, Caesar Augustus was the emperor of the Roman Empire. What he asked the citizens to do was, he asked all of them to register for census. So all the citizens had to go to the birthplace to register for the census. And so did Mary and Joseph. Mary and Joseph went to a town called Bethlehem. When they went there, that's where Jesus was born. He was actually born in a stable. Stable is a place where animals are kept. They didn't have any room anywhere else. There was no room for Jesus in an inn. Today, history is repeating itself. There is no room for Jesus in school. There is no room for Jesus in the society. There is no room for Jesus in the business world or in the political realm. We have kept him away. And when such atrocities happen, war happens, when there is injustice, we wonder, where is God? After Jesus was born in Bethlehem, 3 wise men from the east traveled all the way to see Jesus and to worship him. So they came all the way from the east. They came to a region called Judea, and in Judea is the town of Bethlehem where Jesus was born. These 3 wise men, they came to the palace of King Herod, and they asked the King Herod where Jesus was so that they could go and see him. Now obviously, King Herod was threatened, is it not? Because he is a king himself, and there are somebody else who's coming to seek for another king in the same area. So do you know what he did? He asked the wise men to go and find out where Jesus was and asked them to tell him. So these 3 wise men went and found out and worshipped Jesus, but they never showed up back to the palace. They went home on their way because they are wise men. King Herod was very furious. You know what he did? He killed all the children under the age of 2. History repeats itself. Today we see many children, innocent children, are being slaughtered and killed. Very recently we saw in Pakistan in military school. Throughout the history of the world, there were many rulers killed millions of people. Some of them you will see on the slide are Hitler, Mao Zedong, and Stalin. They killed many innocent people. Man actually wants to become like God. Man wants to become like God. The truth is, there is only one true God who became a man, and that is Jesus. Who is this Jesus? He never held an office. He never penned any book. He didn't travel more than 100 miles of circumference. But he died like a criminal on the cross between two thieves. Jesus was scrutinized more than anyone who ever lived on this world. Yet, many books are written about Jesus than anyone who lived in this world. Many songs are composed and sung about Jesus than anyone who ever lived on this world. Many arts and paintings are about Jesus more than anyone who ever lived on this world. Why? I like the explanation given by John Ortberg, and I quote, "Normally, when someone dies, their impact to this world immediately starts to recede. There were three prominent people: Bob Hope, Johnny Cash, and Steve Jobs. Today there is no Jobs, no Cash, and no Hope. Jesus' impact to this world is greater 100 years after he died than at the time when he lived. The impact of Jesus is higher 1,000 years after he died than at the time he lived. Today, 2,000 years later, the impact of Jesus is higher than any time before. You go around the world, you see people like John, Peter, James, Andrew. Why John? Why Peter? Because those are the names of the disciples of Jesus, and parents give the disciples of Jesus name to their children. I lived in a city called Madras. Very few kilometers from where I lived, there is a place called St. Thomas Mount. If you go to the Madras airport, you will see that. Why St. Thomas Mount? Because there was a disciple called Thomas who was in the Middle East, who traveled all the way to Madras to tell others about Jesus. I studied in Madurai. The name of my school is St. Brito Higher Secondary School. Why Brito? Because there is a man by the name John D. Brito, who was a disciple of Jesus, left the luxury of his life where he lived in Portugal, traveled all the way to Madurai, and then he taught others who lived there about Jesus. He lived there like a sannyasi. He ate probably some good Indian food, but that's where he told others about Jesus. Now I'm living in Des Moines. Why Des Moines? I don't know. But I came here in the year 1998. We are here right now, 2014. This reference 2014 is in reference to the year that Jesus was born. Every time I look at a calendar or when I date a check, I am reminded of the fact that this brief life that was lived has somehow become the dividing line of the whole history of the world. I want to illustrate through an example this life of Jesus. Think about this. How is it that orientation depends so heavily on one single life? How is it that orientation can depend on one single life? There were two friends. One of them said to another, "Hey, I want to have a bet with you. Are you ready for this?" The other said, "Sure, go ahead." So his friend said, "I will ask you a question and I will answer the question. Then you ask a question and you answer the question. We'll go back and forth. The one who cannot answer his own question is the loser, and therefore he will give $100 to the other person." So his friend said, "Wait a minute, let me get this straight. So you ask a question and you will answer the question. Then I will ask a question and I will answer the question, and we will go back and forth. And the one who cannot answer his own question is the loser, and so therefore the other person wins and he gets $100. Sure, this is the straightest bet that I've ever heard. Since you proposed it, you go ahead." So his friend said, "A rabbit is digging a hole. How is it possible that the dirt doesn't come out?" And the answer is, well, the rabbit is digging from inside out, so the dirt doesn't come out. And his friend said, "How on earth is that possible?" And his friends told, "Well, that is your question. You answer that question." Sometimes answers are not meaningful at all. But let me ask you 3 questions. Think of a meaningful answer to those 3 questions. First question is, where did we come from? What's our origin? What are we doing on this earth? And what's our destiny? Let me repeat. Where did we come from? What are we doing on this earth now? And what's our destiny? We can only find meaningful answer for these 3 questions in the life, in the death, and in the resurrection of Jesus. Who is this Jesus? Some say Jesus is deeply mysterious. He's mysterious because he lived a long time ago. Some say he's mysterious because he lived in a world unknown. But there are few things that we do know about Jesus. He made several claims. I want to tell you a few of those. At one time, he said, Jesus told, he is God himself, and that he came from heaven. Can you and I make that claim? There was a person called C.S. Lewis. He's a famous English author. At one time, he was an atheist. He found out later on in his life that this Jesus either has to be a madman or he should be God himself. He found out that later that he is God himself. Who is he? At another time, Jesus said, which one of you can truthfully accuse me of sin? Which one of you can truthfully accuse me of sin? What will happen if I make the claim? My colleagues are there, my friends are there, my family is there. They'll jump up and tell you. But Jesus said, which one of you can accuse me of sin? When Jesus said that, religious leaders of his time were around him. His neighbors were around. His disciples were around. Nobody could accuse Jesus of any sin. Here is another one. Jesus said that he will judge all of us. One day he is going to judge all of us. People are hungry for justice, is it not? We see in the news recently in St. Louis, we know that people are hungry for justice. We see in Syria, people are hungry for justice. We see in Iraq, people are hungry for justice. One day, Jesus is going to judge all of us. He will never give us injustice. He will either give us justice or he offers us mercy. His mercy is his provision on the cross for us. It is a free gift for us. When we choose mercy, he has promised that we will be with him forever. Bible says that everyone has done something wrong. Everyone has sinned. I see many parents here. At one time, we were children of our parents. Has any of your parents taught us how to